Hello, I'm Matt Guff from thehouse.com. This is Mike Okers from Ride Snowboards, and we're going to show you the difference and similarities of the Ride LTD and the Ride Capo snowboard bindings. Mike, welcome to my backyard, man. How you doing?
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah.
Glad to be back. Mike's in my backyard, and we're going to kind of walk through a couple of key pieces from the Ride binding line. We have the LTD and the Capo, not the El Capo, as I like to call it.
El Chapo.
El Chapo.
Yeah.
Mike, I think most people recognize these bindings as being fairly different, but share a lot of similarities. LTD as more of a park freestyle binding, and the Capo as a free ride binding.
Yes.
What unique properties do each of them have that kind of segment them into those categories, and how do those pieces of technologies make the binding feel when you ride?
So
that's a big. I know it's a big question out there.
Yeah, that was a lot. That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
So I mean, what kind of separates them? The biggest thing that separates them across the board from this being more of a freestyle or all mountain freestyle, and this being that all mountain hard charging binding, is going to be our high backs.
Okay.
The biggest difference there is what you're getting. You're getting a urethane high back, so it's going to be a little bit softer flexing on the top.
All right.
So when you are in that freestyle story, you've got a little bit of torsional movement across the top of that binding. Well, it's very stiff on the bottom.
Right.
So a little bit looser and more playful on that heel side, where our just nylon chassis or nylon high back on that is going to be stiff, responsive, and quick edge to edge. So it's going to be that more all mountain story.
Cool. You know, I do like the LTDs. Like you said, it's a little softer up and top, especially in the corners, like tweaking tricks out and such. But this, they have such different design aesthetics. It's like wide. They're about the same height. It almost feels, when I look at the Capo Solo just by itself, it feels like it has a higher high back because of how narrow it is. Why do you think that why is it designed this way?
First off, this was designed after the Warpig. So yes, right
that
there,
one.
the Warpig. So right off of the nose feature of that, it was one that kind of went to it. As we're moving forward into the Super Pig, it's going off on that same nose story principle.
Yeah.
So this is one of those bindings that goes really well with that board.
Yep.
So, I mean, the slimmer look, a lot of it is just aesthetics. Our team kids wanted this. We were trying to build something that's narrow to the, like the heel of our boots, and give it a better look. We wanted to cut some weight, so we pulled all the stuff out. So now you're open in there.
Okay.
And then give it some just little better taste of a graphic on there. So we were able to splash it with some white as well, and that black. So as it looks on the wall, every time you go to a snowboard wall, you see black.
Yeah,
and that's all you see, because that's what sells the most. So now you've got a little splash of white in there, and it's still a black binding.
Yep. Yeah. That's a nice little touch, and same thing with the ankle straps. You're right. Like black stuff just sells. It goes well with everything. And I know, like when we populate our website, we tend to kind of like showcase black because a lot of people like black, but we carry a lot of different colorways usually if there's options of them. But then there's another big difference in these ankle straps.
True.
I like the dual component or the dual mold injected style feature of the LTD.
Yep.
And they're both brand new, aren't they?
So both of them were introduced last year.
Okay.
Yep. So just a little something different for everybody. Both of them are going to be 3D formed.
Okay.
So they're already right to your foot and really match up with your boots very well. And you can kind of see in the center. It's tougher to see on camera, but there's a center channel where it's supposed to be right over the cuff of your foot.
Got it.
So that kind of pins it out there and makes it sit there. But the biggest story is that this is going to be a stiffer, responsive ankle strap, but it's got that secondary piece on there that just gives you the feeling of having a big cushy pad across there.
Right.
So now it's still going to be a higher end, stiffer ankle strap, but it's got that good feel, and it's thinned out so that it's not a lot of material. We don't have to deal with stitching, so stitching doesn't blow out or anything like that. And you've got that urethane, so it's not going to be temperature controlled. So every time you're going to get that same feel across there.
That is a really, really, really good point. It's like similar to the urethane that's found in the slime walls, slime rods, offers a little bit of dampening.
Yep.
And I have noticed in some some straps that in the springtime they seem a little bit more rigid or a little bit softer. than what they're.
Yeah.
It's like negative 40 in February.
Well, exactly.
Right.
And so the more money you pay for something, you want it to be consistent.
Yeah.
And so that urethane allows us to have a consistent flex every time. So it's not, whether it's negative 51 degrees out or it's
Right.
35 degrees out, it's going to feel the same.
Yeah.
So when you talk about that as you're progressing your tricks, progressing your riding and getting better at riding, it's going to be more consistent for you. You're going to get the same flex
Right.
every time. You're going to
Right.
know what you're getting into.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like if you buy a Ferrari, you know what you're getting into. If you buy a Pinto, you know what you're getting into. So right off the bat, it allows you to just feel comfortable with
Right.
your binding.
And that's a great aspect to have, especially for competitive level riders and riders that shoot videos, because they're bouncing all over the globe in different settings, different humidities and temperatures,
Oh, yeah.
and they need their equipment to perform the same
Yeah.
in those different variations.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And now this ankle strap on the El Capo is the reversible.
Yes.
There's a dual density, different than the dual density that's found in the LTD.
Yep.
How would you best describe it to be worn in the position that it's in, and then also when you reverse it and swap it out with the other binding?
Yeah. So the position that it's in right now is how it comes out of the box. So right off the bat, you've got the stiffer end up on top with the softer flexing on the bottom.
Yeah.
Basically, because this is that higher end, more responsive binding, that's why we put the stiff end up there.
Yep.
Now, whether you love the stiff high back and a stiff chassis, but want a little bit more play in the front, you can spin it that way and flip it so that you have a softer feeling on your
Right.
ankle and a little bit softer flex.
Right.
Typically, what we see with a lot of people when you're looking at how this feels on a snowboard, you know, it's like if you were to put it out there, it would be like a 7 out of a 10.
Okay.
So it tends to be one of those stiffer bindings.
Yes.
You want that for that more responsive story.
Yep.
And typically, you've got somebody that's throwing in an 8, 9, 10 boot.
Okay.
In there, so
Yeah.
they've got two stiff combinations.
Right.
So if they're feeling it and they want to loosen it up and they want a little bit more play and a little bit ability to dictate how it is going to feel, they can flip that and reverse it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that, and I like how you broke it apart into 3 sections: the high back, the chassis, and then the strap. Like, yeah, most people who get the capo tend to want something responsive, but it's also nice to have the versatility of having a strap that's adjustable to throw on a pow surfer or a pow board if you want, just kind of more surfy feel with
Exactly.
the continuous and consistent response of a high back and chassis that's stiff.
Yeah.
That's cool. Those are kind of like the big differences. There's one other kind of major big difference, and that's found underneath the Infinity chassis.
Yes.
It's these little pads here.
Yes.
A lot of people overlook these, and I think I appreciate this micro tech more than the average person.
Yeah.
What is the difference between the LTD and what you find in the capo?
So basically, what you've got here, this is just all these guys are going to be that EVA urethane kind of story where it's sucking up some of the vibrations in the riding.
Yes.
We've got an aluminum chassis, so there is vibration that's coming up from your board base into your board. What that's going to do is eliminate that story, so you have less vibration, less chatter.
Right.
The faster you go, the more you're going to have. So sucking that up and taking a little bit in there. This is just a little tiny bit on your limited. And the story being there is it's taking that, but then you also have the rollover chassis, so it's not affecting anything like that. So there's some movement in the chassis when it's on the board.
Cool.
So
Right.
when it comes down to that, that's going to be a little bit more freestyle oriented, like we've talked about.
Right.
So the movement and having less material underneath there is going to be great.
Right.
On this guy, you've got the urethane roll bar. So what that is another segment of urethane underneath there, but it does it has a bit more in the back and the heel for bigger landings, this kind of stuff,
Cool.
backcountry stuff.
Right.
But then it's going to give you a little bit quicker edge-to-edge story. So going along with that rodeo chassis or that the chassis that's going on in there, that's where you're going to get the power transmission, and you want a little bit more in your heel.
Cool. Cool. That's nice. You know, there's some major differences, but there are some similarities. You know, the thin grip max.
Yes.
Love. You know, like if you get a chance, if you don't ride bindings yet, if you're thinking about it, you know, as much fun as all these other things that we've just talked about are, one thing that really drives it home for me is this Thin Grip Max toe strap.
Yes.
It's convertible. You can wear it on top of your foot, old school style. Do you wear it this way, or do you wear it on your toes?
No, I've gone full toe.
You full toe. Yeah, I'm full toe too. Yeah, so you can wear it up on top, or you can wear it on the front of your toes, and then that nice webbing contours around any boot manufacturer and any model out there.
That's a very good point, because we do take, a lot of companies don't take into consideration that sometimes people aren't, if they're buying your binding, they might buy another boot, or they might go with what they had from last year or anything like that. So when it comes to fitting this, there's a lot of ways to do it, but a lot of companies don't take into consideration that, hey, you might have a big toe box, so then you need something it's going to fit over a lot of different boxes and different boots in the game. So that one's really nice, and you're able to put it over. I like it because when you have it on your toe, it's really driving your heel back again. So on a performance level, that's why I like it. You know, if you wanted some more movement, you could put it over the top, and you get a little bit more flex, feel, surfy feel in there. Yep.
Now, you know, a lot of people may or I guess may not know that the bindings, the aluminum bindings, are aircraft grade, right? What's the aluminum type called?
6061 aircraft aluminum.
Wow.
Yeah, it's magical.
It is kind of magical. And
unicorn horns.
Unicorn horns, ground up and molded
and put right into the.
And then they feature a lifetime warranty too, right?
They do on the chassis. Yep.
I've seen hardly any bindings come through our warranty program or warranty department with the Ride Infinity chassis system.
It's tough.
It's incredible.
It's a tough deal. It's a tough deal to break them.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're not. But like what that durability is there for, that if it does break, I mean, I've seen it once on a pro, and he rode all day. After it broke, he didn't know. So it's meant to so if it does break, it's still meant to stay together and hold your foot in there. So you don't have a bad day where if you got a, you know, let's say you have a nylon or a plastic chassis and it breaks, you're done. You're done for the day. So, I mean, these guys were riding hard all afternoon, and then he was like, whoa. So it's tough to find them when they do snap, but they're solid. Built tough.
Yeah, built tough. I wonder if anyone who's a welder, actually, if you've ever broken one of these, I'm sorry for you, I feel bad for you, you probably got a new one, but have you ever welded it back together? Could you use aluminum weld? No,
I wouldn't.
We're not suggested.
No, don't suggest that. Just like anything, you know, if it broke, like if you have a helmet and your helmet cracks, you go get a new helmet. That's the, you know, we don't want anybody getting injured. Not to say that if you welded it, I mean, it's probably going to stay together. It probably would for the rest of its life. But yeah, I would suggest you turn it into warranty right away and get something else.
But you know, as much as we're talking about warranty right now, again, lifetime warranty, basically one in like every 100,000 of these breaks, which is
it's huge.
Basically zero.
Yeah.
Basically zero.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, Okers, man, thanks for coming here.
Yeah.
Thanks
for having me.
You're welcome. You know, in between these two, which one do you find yourself riding more?
I ride the LTD.
You ride the LTD.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. As I'm getting older, I still want to have some freestyle fun.
Yeah.
So I do that, but I mean, you know, I have an arsenal. At my feet, so I'm like I can bounce around. So I do spend a lot of time on this as well. Cool.
And then within the Ride line, what kind of two boards would you? You can put them on any board within the lineup, but what two would really work well for the LTD, and what two would work well for the Cap?
LTD, I still love to put it on my Warpig.
Warpig and probably
and then Burnout.
Burnout because it matches the high back.
Yeah. Not only because it matches the
high
back, but it's really great. And then on the Capo, I would probably go Mountain Pig. And Algorithm.
Cool. Yep. That sounds nice.
That's a good combo.
That is a good combo.
It does go well with the chicken.
It does.
Yeah.
Okers, thanks again, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And of course, thank you guys for watching again. Leave a comment or question. Let us know what you think of the LTD and the Capo bindings from Ride for 2020. Subscribe to the channel over there. Check out more vids here. And hopefully we'll see you guys on Snow. Peace.